all have systems in our homes. Some systems work beautifully. Some are okay, and others are falling apart. We need systems in order to keep our homes running smoothly. And today I'd like to share with you 5 home systems that I have implemented in my own life that seem to keep our home running relatively smoothly. Hi, I'm Lorraine, and I am blessed to be on this homemaking journey with you. I'm a full-time wife, mom, and homemaker, and I've been a full-time homemaker for 7 years. I have 4 children with a 5th on the way. And it is here on my channel that I hope to encourage you on your homemaking journey as we seek to live out our calling as women who live for Christ. If you would like, please like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel so that we can encourage others on their journeys as well. So first of all, what in the world am I saying when I'm saying home system? I have a definition for you. Oxford says a system is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. An organized framework or method. So basically it's how you go about managing your home. Some people are super organized and some people are a fly by your pants sort of people. And that's okay. Not everyone has to manage their home systems the same way. It just has to work for you and your family. And these systems can be finely tuned or they can be broad and generic. Again, it has to work for you. Titus 2, 3-5 states, older women, likewise, are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious gossips or enslaved to much wine, teaching what is good, so that they may instruct the young women in sensibility, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be sensible, pure, workers at home, kind, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of God will not be slandered. God calls us to be workers at home. I think there's this wrong, but maybe accurate stereotype of some housewives who sit on their couch all day eating chocolates. That's not the type of women we are called to be. Even before the fall in the Garden of Eden, man was made to work, to work with his hands, to tend the garden. That just shows us that work isn't bad. Yes, we get tired and our body aches and we just want to relax sometimes, and relaxing in moderation is fine. Like, we need that time to rejuvenate, to recuperate from the work we have done. And 1 Timothy 3:11 says we are to be faithful in all things. And so let us be faithful to the things he has right in front of us. Whether you're just a homemaker for yourself, just your husband and yourself, or you have a whole family of kids, you are to be faithful in what the Lord has given you. And we do that by stewarding the resources and the blessings he has given to us well. Proverbs 18:9 states, he also who is slack in his work is brother to him who destroys. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're a woman who doesn't want to be a brother, sister, to one who destroys. What that verse is saying is someone who is lazy, someone who lacks the motivation and the gumption to work hard and well, is akin to being destructive. And I think we can see that in our society, in our homes. When people don't pull their own weight, it's detrimental to everyone, not just them. And so we want to be women who are edifying and nurturing and building up our homes, our husbands, and our children. And a very practical way we can do that is by making sure our home runs well. And we do that through home systems. Before we jump into the 5 systems I'm going to talk about, one piece of advice that goes for any home, any system, is don't work against the natural system of your home. If something is a pain point in your home, or something is naturally happening in your home, don't fight against the natural event and don't tamper with the pain point too much. And I hope I can explain this. I did not want dirty towels in my kitchen. In our old house, the laundry room was right there. And so I could just throw dirty towels into the washer or into a basket to keep them corralled until I was ready to wash them. But here, I have to walk a good distance from the kitchen to the laundry room if I want to take soiled rags to the laundry room. And I just had it in my brain. A good wife, a good housewife does not let dirty laundry pile in her kitchen. Well, sure enough, because it was too inconvenient for me to walk every dirty towel to the laundry room when it was time to be put in the laundry, I ended up dumping them on the floor. And I realized this is the natural system of this home. I don't like having the dirty towels here, but I also don't want them to just be a mess and a pile on the floor. And so I swallowed my pride and I got a nice, attractive laundry basket and put it in the kitchen. So now, at least when I am done with a towel or a rag or some sort of table linen, I just toss it in there and I empty the basket pretty regularly. And so that's what I mean by follow the natural rhythms of your home and just try to improve on them. Don't fight them. If there's a problem area, ask yourself, what is the simplest solution? And so once you've discovered a pain point and you have figured out the simplest solution to it, try it. There's no rule that says once you try a system, you have to stick with that system. No, try it out, revamp it, tinker with it, or do something completely different. You are more than welcome to go through trial and error as you work through your home systems. Okay, the system I want to talk to you about first is my filing suspense system. I love this system. And it's a system that was introduced to me by my husband through his boss. This is essentially a to-do list in a filing system. So what it is that I get our car registration paperwork and I know it's due in April. It's February. What should I do with that piece of paper for 2 months? Unless I'm going to pay it off right away. We use sinking funds, and so we build up funds to pay off those larger bills, and so those funds aren't going to be ready until April. But I get the paperwork in February. So how do I make sure to keep track of that piece of paper without just having piles everywhere? The answer is a filing suspense system. I have a whole drawer full of files and they are labeled with the months of the year. January, February, March, April, May, all the way to December. And so what I'll do is I'll take that piece of paper for car registration that is due in April and put it in my April file. I don't have to think about it again until April rolls around. And so what I'll do is on the first day of April, maybe the day before, maybe a day or two after the 1st of April, I'll pull out that file and go through all the papers I've stashed in there. I'll see that car registration and go, oh, time to pay car registration. And at that point, my sinking fund should be ready and my paperwork is ready. I'm actually doing that with all of our tax information. I have for quite a few years now. Anytime we get any sort of tax form we need for filing taxes, I'll just put it in my April file folder and know it's there safe and sound and it'll be ready for us when we're ready to file our taxes. I also like to use these for cards I want to send out. If I know someone's birthday is in a certain month, I'll put a card in that file folder for that month so that when I pull that file out, I can just send a birthday card and not have to think about it anymore. I've also done this with wedding invitations, baby shower invites, any sort of event that's a couple months out or even a few weeks out that I don't want to deal with right away. I'll just put that invitation, that information in the corresponding month and then get to it when that month rolls around. I also get a little more detailed with my folders as well. So I have a couple file folders that are labeled by week. So the 1st through the 7th, the 8th through the 14th, 15th through 20th, that sort of thing. So by weeks in the month. And that way, if there's a piece of paper or some sort of to-do that I shouldn't do at the very beginning of the month, that I need to do a little later, I will put it in that file folder. So I've taken it from the month and I put it into its week that I want to deal with it. And I have 2 more file folders, one that says today and one that says tomorrow. So I can pull that week folder out and I can file things in there if I want to do it today or if I want to do it tomorrow. And then just be sure and check those files every day so you know what's coming and what needs to be dealt with. And this has just simplified my paperwork so much. I don't have to think about things. I don't even have to remember about putting things on the calendars if I don't want to. It's all in the file folders and I go through those monthly to keep things on track. My second system is my subscription accountability system. Try saying that 5 times fast. But it's basically how I keep my subscriptions in order. And I don't mean subscriptions to like Hulu or Disney or whatever streaming service. I'm talking about product subscriptions. I will sign up for subscriptions if I'm ordering a product and it's a little expensive and I want to take advantage of the discount that comes with signing up for a recurring order of that item. I'll sign up for it in that moment, and a lot of times I have forgotten that I have signed up for that subscription, and so the next month rolls around and I get the same product again that I don't actually need because I didn't manage the subscription. In my phone, every month on the 1st of the month, I have a reminder to check all of my subscriptions because there are some that I do want to keep and that I do want to take advantage of continually. But the products change that I want, the products change that I need. Sometimes I do want to skip a month. I need to maintain control over them so that I don't have, 10 different moisturizers coming out of my ears because I didn't follow through with managing my subscriptions. So every month this reminder pops up and it has all the places that I am subscribed to, and I will check my subscription for that month, see what orders are coming up, and edit them as needed. I have the system in place because I have failed at this too many times. It has helped so much to save us money, to save us headaches, to save me embarrassment that I've ordered something that we didn't have in the budget because I just forgot about the subscription. The third system I have in place is our Sunday morning preparation routine. So as Christians, church is obviously a priority for us. With 4 young kids, preparing for Sundays is a beast. And so we've had to take steps the night before in order to set us up for success the morning of. And one of the most important things I have to do is prepare everyone's clothing for the morning of, picking out the actual outfits everyone will be wearing, picking out all of the accessories that go with those outfits. And I'm talking underwear, making sure the kids have socks. We know where their shoes are, and we put the shoes by the front door so they can get into them as they're walking out to the car, and we're not running around hunting for all the shoes right before we're supposed to leave. Find them the night before, clean them if you need to. It's muddy where we are right now, so we need to make sure that they're clean before they get in the car with them and they are ready to go. For myself, I need to make sure I have all of the undergarments I need, my dress is pressed, my husband has his tie, his shirt, whatever he's going to be wearing to church that next morning. We need to know where everything is so we're not running around looking for everything. I like to iron clothes. I hate wrinkles. So some people iron clothes as soon as they're done drying. I would love to implement that. I haven't gotten there quite yet, but I do try and iron everything the night before so that they are all ready to go. This also means you need to prepare any food for the next day. Make sure breakfast is ready to go. Whether this means your fridge is stocked so you can make a nice hot breakfast for your family, or there's cereal in the pantry so that people can just pour themselves a bowl with some milk and are good to go. We love hot breakfasts here, so we just have to know to get on that as soon as possible so that it's cooked and eaten before we have to head out the door. If you can do an overnight casserole or an overnight dish of some sort, that's even better. So that way it's ready to go and you don't have to think about it and it's still hot. And if you can, try and prepare lunch for when you get home from church. Everything is so much easier if lunch is already ready to go. So I've done crock pot meals before where I'll throw it in the morning of, and by the time we get home from church, it's ready to be eaten. Or I'll even make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and throw those in the fridge. And so all you do is take them out of the fridge and hand them to the children as they come through the door, and lunch is eaten and people are happy. Whatever works for you and your family, if you can, try and get lunch ready so that you aren't cranky and tired and have to worry about food as soon as you walk through the door. You will also need to prepare church supplies. For us, that list has grown because we're in a church plant and a lot of responsibilities fall on our shoulders because it's such a small congregation. And so obviously we need the normal things like Bibles and notebooks, which we actually don't take to church right now because we are holding our girls usually during the service. And so we just don't have the hands, the arms to read our Bible and take notes at the same time, which we're both really sad about, but it's just the way it is right now. But if you don't have that issue, make sure your Bibles, your notebooks, your pens are all in a satchel or a bag or a tote, whatever it is you use to carry them around while you're at church. If you're teaching a Sunday school lesson, get all those materials prepared the night before so you're not running around the morning of looking for scissors or crayons or that worksheet that you wanted to make copies of at the church. And for us right now, we're currently in charge of the music, and my husband plays the guitar. We pick out the songs, so we need to make sure that his guitar is ready to go. He has his guitar stand. We have our hymnals because we in a hotel, and so we have to carry our hymnals back and forth every Sunday. And so whatever tools you need to bring to church because of how you're serving, be sure those are prepared the night before and either loaded in the car or set right by the front door. And then, if you're like us with little kids and diapers still, you have your diaper bag. Make sure there are fresh diapers, wipes, trash bag, whatever it is you normally put in your diaper bag. Make sure that is ready to go and load it up or by the front door. I also hate leaving my house a disaster on Sunday mornings. I feel this way anytime I leave the house, but especially on Sundays for some reason. And so if you are like me and you want to come home to a clean, fresh house after church, make sure you do whatever you can the night before to make sure that happens. Sweep the floors, vacuum, put away laundry, put away toys. The morning of, make sure your kids put away their toys when they're done playing. Clean up the dishes from breakfast. Load them in the dishwasher if you can. Wipe out your sinks, wipe your counters, wipe your table, so everything is ready to go when you get home. And something that I want to start implementing, but I haven't yet, is I want to make sure the car is clean before church. I'd love to get in there and get all the trash out. We're pretty good about getting trash out, at least gross trash like food, but other miscellaneous trash, socks that the girls take off in their car seats that we missed, water bottles that didn't get brought in. Just make sure the car is tidy and ready to go for that Sunday morning rush. The fourth system I want to talk about is probably a big pain point for all of us, and that is meal planning and grocery shopping. I am by no means perfect in this area, but I've had a lot of practice, and so I think I've come up with a pretty good system. I like to dedicate one day to meal planning and grocery shopping, and so that starts off with me cleaning out the fridge. Got to get all those nasty leftovers out of there. Any food that has gone bad, get it all out of your fridge so that when you come home from the grocery store, everything is ready to be placed in a nice clean fridge. That means I've also wiped it down before going grocery shopping. Doing this also helps you know what you need to buy. If you think you have salad in your fridge, but then you go and clean out your fridge and you realize, oh, all this lettuce has wilted and is rotting now. I don't have salad. That's something you want to be sure to put on your list if you want salad. And then make your meal plan based off of what you already have in your fridge, freezer, and pantry. I think some people call this reverse meal planning. So instead of planning your meals and then gathering everything to make sure you have those items for those meals, instead make meals based off of what you already have. So in this case, say you have leftover ground beef in the fridge and it's still good. You'll know you want to use that pretty quickly. And so a simple way to do that is to make spaghetti sauce, meat spaghetti sauce. So you'll know, oh, okay, one night, maybe tonight or tomorrow, I'll make spaghetti. And so you'll look in your fridge for the meat, verify it's there, make sure you have pasta, sauce, whatever else you want to go with your spaghetti in the pantry or the fridge. But that way you're not wasting good food that will go bad if you don't use it right away. And so you'll want to use the same principle with your freezer. Go through your freezer quickly and see what things are coming up on their expiration date and use those as soon as you can, and use as many items as you can from the pantry and the fridge to supplement. I think you'll find you'll actually cut down on your grocery budget quite a bit if you use this method. And then I always write down my meal plan. I don't know what it is, but I have a very hard time keeping my meals in my head. I have to write it down if I actually want to stick to my meal plan, whether that's on the whiteboard we have in our dining room, whether that's on a piece of paper, whether that's in my phone. And so as soon as I can, I grocery shop. And usually I like that to happen the same day that I've cleaned out my fridge. And if it's not, the next day is fine. It's gonna be fine. But as soon as I get home from the grocery store, I like to cook any raw meat that I have bought. Instead of having it sit in my fridge for an extended period of time, I want to cook it as soon as possible. And if I can cook it the day I bring it home, that is ideal. And usually cooking your protein is the hardest part of any meal. And so now you have the hardest part done. And so if you have a recipe that calls for cooked chicken and you've already cooked the chicken breasts and they're sitting in your fridge, that makes one less step that night that you're going to have to do. After a meal is finished, I always put leftovers away. First, we are a leftover family. Hate wasting leftover food. I eat leftovers, my husband eats leftovers, my kids eat leftovers. We're not scared of leftovers. I always set aside food immediately after a meal is done for my husband, and because the leftovers are usually his lunch for the next day. And I always label my leftovers. Even for his lunch, I will put a little sticky note on it and put Caleb's lunch for this date. That way if something happens and he forgets his lunch or he decides to eat a different lunch that day, I at least know what day I put those leftovers in the fridge and I'll know how long they're good for. And any food that's not going into his lunch, I label. I have to label my leftovers so I'm not playing the guessing game and trying to decide if food is still good or not. And as you get the hang of grocery shopping, meal planning, it will come so much easier to you the more you do it. And you won't have to look in your pantry as closely because you will be more familiar with what's in there. Following a system eventually gets easier the more you do it. Kind of a bonus to this system is prepping all your food for the day in the morning. I I don't get morning sickness. I get afternoon and evening sickness. And so the mornings are my best time to do anything. I like to prepare like my kids' lunch before they're done eating breakfast. A lot of times it's a sandwich or something simple that I can put back in the fridge and just have to pull back out for them when noon comes. I'm not as keen about doing this for dinner because I like dinner to be more fresh, especially for my husband when he comes home from work. So I'm not really doing that for dinner, but for lunch especially, I like to prepare it before breakfast is even done. If you do have a crock pot meal that you want to put in for dinner though, now is the time in the morning before the breakfast dishes are cleaned up. The last system we're going to talk about is my nightly kitchen reset. I am a firm believer in resetting my kitchen every single night. I absolutely hate coming down the stairs in the morning to a messy kitchen. It is just such an instant drag on the day. And I didn't live by this rule for the first maybe year we were married. I remember distinctly we had some house guests and they were with us for maybe a week. And I felt like it was rude for me to clean up dishes after every meal because I felt like I was taking time away from visiting with them. Eventually, the kitchen got really gross and they offered to clean it up for me. And then I felt even more terrible because I wasn't expecting them to clean it up. I just didn't think that it was polite for me to do it at the time. But all of a sudden I realized I think my guests are more uncomfortable with my dirty kitchen than if I were to take the 15 minutes to actually clean it up after every meal. And so that's kind of when my mindset changed about that. No one likes dirty dishes in the sink, especially if you're a guest somewhere. That doesn't make you feel welcomed or at home. After that visit, I became a lot more fastidious about making sure my dishes were clean every night. And so every night, all the dishes are removed from the table as soon as possible, all the food is put away, and dishes are cleaned and put in the dishwasher. At that point in the day, my dishwasher usually has dishes in it already from the dirty dishes we've created throughout the day. And so the dishwasher is ready with dirty dishes, and you just load the rest in and it's ready to go. And then I'll wipe down the counters, wipe down the table, wipe down the stove. If I have the time, wipe out any of other appliances that were used, like the microwave or our toaster oven. Just do a nice clean wipe of everything. I also like to sweep every day. And right now it's been in the mornings because I feel so terrible at night. And so the sweeping doesn't get done at night, I'll do it in the morning. I don't mop every night. I wish I could, but it's just not in the system right now. If we leave out crumbs, we are just inviting rodents into the house. I know the mice are out there and I want them to stay out there. And then I usually set my dishwasher to run in the middle of the night. And I do this for a couple reasons. The first one being I hate the noise of the dishwasher. And then I also don't want the hot water in the dishwasher to compete with the hot water for showers and bath time. Something my husband often does when he has finished cleaning up the kitchen, which he's been doing more of because I haven't been feeling well. And then before I got pregnant, there were things I had to do in the evenings that prevented me from cleaning up the kitchen, and so he had to take that on. He was so sweet, and he would always get my coffee ready the night before. And doing all of this the night before is such an encouragement to me when I come downstairs in the morning to have a calm, productive day. I don't have to start the day in a panic. I even get to have my coffee right away. And so it just sets you up for a good attitude and a calmness before the chaos of the day starts. That's all we got for today. If you have any systems you'd like to share with us, please leave them in the comments. Again, I'm always looking for different ways to improve on my home systems, and I'd love to hear your ideas. So until next time, God bless.